Good morning, crew. Good morning. The scriptures today come from 1 John chapter 4, verse 4. And it says this: greater is the one that is living in you than the one that is in the world. It's such a confident scripture. Have you ever had the moment when you're in a competitive situation? Sport, choir, bells, I don't know what you guys do. Basketball, for example, it's the end of the third quarter and you're down by 12 points, but you're playing a team and you know you can win. Like, you finish the third quarter and you look around at your crew and you're like, nah, we got this. We can do this. And so the fourth quarter comes and you just step it up and you get it right and you take the win. Like, it's a nice moment when you're playing and you know you can win. Usually you know you can win because you've played them before in the season. You've already played them 3 times and you know what it takes to win, and you know you've got the talent on your team, and so what you do is you just play hard enough to keep up with them for the first 3 quarters, knowing that you can turn it up by another gear when you need it. Playing with that sort of confidence, it's just nice. And the reason why you have the confidence is because you've done it before and you're assured of the win. I'm hanging out in South Africa, traveling, studying, got a bunch of friends and they're doing competitive surfing. We're from the Cape Town region and competition is organised. It's 8 hours away and there's this other team coming to verse us and they're bad. They're really bad. We've versed them before. They're like an inland team. They don't even have their own beach. Anyway, all the sponsors are there. This is a serious competition. Billabong, Rip Curl. We all travel to this location. We got Geordie Smith on our team. He's currently on the world tour. He's a gun of a surfer. Anyway, we meet this other team. First day goes down. It's pretty good. That night, we're like, let's make some trouble. So we go and we take the other team's wetsuits. We fill them up with water. We paste them in plastic bags and we drop these bags in the freezer. Next morning they wake up, all of their wetsuits are just like these giant blocks of ice. We thought it was hilarious. Takes them forever to defrost their wetsuits. Turns out we'd also put soap on their surfboards as well. Once they finally defrosted their wetsuits, they jumped in the water and there's soap all over. It just turns to slime, you can't surf on it. Anyway, the judges didn't think it was as funny as we did. They get us all together, there's 2 teams there. They're like, so who did this? And we're like, they did to themselves, you know. Anyway, the judges say, listen, we're going to do this competition, but the points are going to this other team. They're going through the competition, okay? But we're still going to have the competition. They win. So we went ahead with the competition, and every one of their surfers actually surfed our crew just right out of the water. Like, everyone on their team just absolutely outperformed the people on our team. They just destroyed us because they were playing with a confidence that just comes from knowing the outcome. The scriptures say this: greater is the one that is living in us than the one that is in the world. You know what that means? Listen, we as Christians, we are the imperfect ones, but there is one that is living in us, that is the Christ that is perfect. We as Christians, we are the powerless ones, but there is one who has huge amounts of power that is living in us, and that is the Christ. We as Christians, we are the ones who fail and we need grace, but there is a gracious one that is living in us, and that is the Christ. But here is the thing that we are promised, and this is the best thing ever. The forces in the world, the forces out there of injustice, of brokenness, of pain, of poverty, those forces are not as strong as the Christ, because the force of love and goodness and grace and justice, that force, it always wins. Love always wins. And you know what we can do as Christians? This is the coolest thing. We can look back at the past and we can see we've won before. Honestly, Nero, like his awful, corrupt politician hanging out in Rome, who's like, let's burn some Christians because I don't like them. They're kind of Jewish. No, not cool. Christians, with the power of love and justice, overturn the Roman Empire. The Christian church has been through plagues before. You know what the Christian church did? Started hospitals. Listen, systems of brokenness, injustice, they've existed before, but you know what? The church keeps stepping up. Martin Luther King stands up against racism, preaches his way to more and more liberty, and there is so much more work to be done. But listen, when we look back through history, injustice, poverty, racism. These forces do not stand a chance against the power of the one that is living in us. I know. Sometimes we look at the scoreboard and we're like, listen, it doesn't look good. I get that. I know right now there is a pandemic. I know right now in the world there is so much poverty. I know right now that there is so much more that needs to be done in terms of justice. But listen, I want you to live with the confidence that comes from the fact that Christ, the one who lives in us, is greater than all of these things. And Christ will be triumphant.